Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your August 2020 horoscope for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So first of all, starting off here on the 3rd of August, we have a full moon in Aquarius. So this is a full moon that is happening down in your 4th house, where this is a major release of these emotional connections, right? There's a lot here for those of you with Scorpio rising, but also for those of you with Scorpio sun, where this can be a very lonely, very empty time. And a lot of this is having to do with the work that you are doing, right? There's a lot that's going on up in your 10th house of Leo with the sun there, where there's a huge focus now that is on your goals, your expectations, on what you can achieve. And so there is not a whole lot that is going on here as far as connection, as far as connecting with others, right? There's a lot that is being focused into your work life, into your career, into your role that you have to play, your responsibilities that you have to take on with this sun that is sitting up in your 10th house. Remembering that that 10th house is where we disconnect from the home and where we go out into the world to take on our goals and responsibilities. So, a lot of work that is being done here in the month of August and even going into the month of September, because remember that Virgo is also sitting in your 11th house, where we're going to see the sun shift here towards the end of August, where that is also dealing with the future, is dealing with your connection to the world, to your larger groups, right? So there's a lot here that is going on in terms of working, taking care of business, your responsibility, your duty, your role to play here for the month of August and even going into the month of September. Now, moving on ahead here on the 4th of August, we have Mercury entering into Leo. So now we have another planet that is entering into your 10th house, right? So this is where many of you are starting to have to apply writing or communication heavily into your career, into your business, into your work life, right? Many of you with this Mercury sitting up in your 10th house are going to have to start making some decisions, are going to have to start scheduling and planning in a more logical way, are going to have to start using your communication skills more here in terms of your work life, in terms of your goals, in terms of getting your accomplishments done. So there's a lot of heavy focus here that is on your work life, that is on what you are creating and building in this space. Now, moving forward on the 7th of August, we have Venus entering into Cancer. So this is Venus entering into your 9th house, where we had that Mercury retrograde, we had that new moon, where this has been all about opening yourself up to experiences, expanding yourself, right? So there's been a lot of growth, a lot of evolution that's been going on here for those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, where many of you are making big changes in your life, right? You're making major improvements, major adjustments. And as Venus comes in here and enters into your 9th house, there's a lot of values, there's a lot of appreciation in your belief systems, in your philosophy, right? As Mercury has sat here in your 9th house in this retrograde, there has been a lot of reevaluating, replanning how your future is going to look, how you're going to grow your business or grow within your life. And now, as Venus comes in here, many of you are going to start to grow to appreciate these shifts and changes that you have made. And so, as Venus is entering into your 9th house, it is a big time of starting to value your beliefs more, starting to value your decisions about the future, your plans, your goals of where you're going, where you're headed. And so, this is a big time of really understanding that you need to hold this value and self worth in your life. And so for those of you who are struggling here as Venus starts to enter into your ninth house, it is a big time of remembering the work that you've put in, remembering the goals that you are completing, remembering the plans that you are making, the future that you're creating here, and making sure that you are valuing and appreciating yourself for where you are and where you're headed as far as this growth and change that is going on in your life. Now, on the 15th of August, we have Uranus, which is stationing retrograde. We haven't seen Uranus retrograde since the beginning of 2020, where it came out of its retrograde from the previous year. Uranus has spent a great time, though, here in your 7th house, where this has been a big time of, for some of you, having your space, having your independence to do your own thing, to take your own path, right? And for some of you, it has also been a time of getting into relationships, getting out of relationships, right? There's been a lot of changes and evolution that's been happening as far as your relationships. And remembering that when we talk about relationships, we're not just talking about romantic relationships, but friendships, business partnerships, any sort of one-on-one interaction is going to happen through this 7th house. So for many of you, you've been going through major shifts and changes here as far as those who you are connecting to. Some of you losing friends, some of you getting in and out of relationships, some of you needing to make space and time for yourself to focus on your own plans and goals. And so there's a big focus here for many of you that is set on your work, your responsibilities, your routine, more so than relationships and interaction with others. So very, very quiet time for many of you throughout this whole entire year of 2020. For those of you who have Scorpio sun or moon, where there's been a lot of shifts. And for those of you with Scorpio rising, this has been a time of really needing to explore your options, needing to understand what it is that you're looking for. And for many of you, as you're building and creating your career, your status, your reputation, your role to play, you're rearranging your life, this is going to shift the people that you are attracting and bringing into your life. And so for many of you, there are major changes that are happening here in terms of connection. Now, moving forward on the 18th, we have a new moon in Leo. And this is interesting because remember that we had 2 new moons in Cancer. We started off this 3-part eclipse season with a full moon penumbral lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, not a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. So we have experienced 2 new moons now in Cancer, where this has been 2 opportunities to really explore and expand upon your knowledge, to go through this spiritual evolution, to go through this journey of self-improvement, and really expanding your world and your life and your horizons. So this has been a big time of really growing, and especially in terms of any projects, jobs, any opportunities that you are taking on. There's a lot of growth that is happening here for those of you with Scorpio rising. And this year really is a year of this growth and expansion for those of you here with Scorpio rising, especially with Neptune being in your 5th house, where we have seen this spiritual growth, right? Remember that the 5th house is the house of graduation, right? There is a lot here in terms of how are you expanding yourself, especially in terms of career, in terms of fame, in terms of your activities, your hobbies, your interests, your projects, and also in your learning experiences. And so there's a lot of growth that is going on here for those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, especially for those of you with Scorpio Rising, as this is a new moon that is entering into your 10th house. new possibilities in terms of what you are creating, what you are doing, what you are building here, whether that is career, whether that's in your life personally. There's a lot of shifts and changes that are being made here for those of you with Scorpio rising. Now, moving forward here on the 22nd, we mentioned this before, but there is the sun that is shifting into your 11th house, right? And we've had this sun sitting here in your 10th house for this entire season of Leo. Now the sun is shifting. We're entering into a brand new season here where the focus is shifting from what makes us feel good, where we're expressing ourselves, our confidence, our joy, to our responsibilities, to our routines, to what we need to take care of. And for those of you with Scorpio rising, you are very much about taking care of others. With this Virgo that is sitting in your 11th house, you are of service to others. And so many of you are nurses, many of you are giving out practical advice to your friends. Whatever the case may be, you are used to being of service to others. And so with the sun coming into here, this highlights this even more, where your business, your career, your status, your goals, as we've had all this Leo energy building up in your 10th house, is being increased with this responsibility, with these expectations, with these future plans, these goals that you have for yourself. This is where the focus is at. And so this month of August is a little bit of a challenging time for those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising as far as connecting with others, but very positive time for you to build and grow in terms of your projects, your career, your goals, your expectations, how you can expand yourself on a spiritual, energetic level. So that was your horoscope for the transits, the major transits for this month of August. I also pulled from the cards, and for the month of August, I pulled from the Rider Tarot deck and the Barbieri Zodiac Oracle deck. So we're going a little bit old school using our older decks here. And the first card that comes up for you, Scorpio, is the Magician. This is a time of creating your reality. This is a time of taking your thoughts, your ideas, and making something of it. And so this is where we see all of this 10th house energy, all of this 11th house energy that is on its way, where there's a lot of goals, a lot of expectations, a lot of visions, a lot of focus on career that is going on here for those of you with Scorpio rising. Also, for those of you with Scorpio sun or moon, you may resonate with this as well. In this process, many of you are also clearing out the past. And so this is where, with this Five of Pentacles, some of you may experience a loss of friend. Some of you may experience shifts going on in your reality where you are entering into something new. So many of you are leaving behind a past experience, whether this is an old project, an old friend, right? We have this shift that's going on with the sun entering into your 11th house. So there's a spotlight being put on this area here where many of you are walking away from something that no longer serves you, or you are losing something that no longer serves you. Next card here is the Ace of Wands. So this loss, this old chapter that is ending, is for a new one to begin. Right? This is a new opportunity. This is a new experience for growth, for expansion. So many of you are going through this spiritual evolution where you are losing old friends, where you're losing old situations in your life that are leading you to this new experience, this new opportunity, this new area for growth. Last card here from the Rider Tarot deck is the Hermit. This is an individual journey, and this is where many of you are going to be alone during this time. Not lonely, but alone. You will be on your own individual path of growth, of improvement. And so for many of you, this is not a big month of making friends, of making connections. This is a month that is solely focused on you improving and bettering your life. So many of you are going to be focused on career. Some of you are going to be focused on self-improvement. But there is a lot of growth and evolution that is going on here for the month of August for those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Moving into the Barbieri Zodiac Oracle deck, the first card we have here is Jupiter, right? And we've talked about this throughout the entire reading. Jupiter, expansion. This is your time to grow. Now we have Jupiter that is in this big conjunction with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. And so Jupiter is currently sitting in your third house, where this is a big time to learn, to explore, right? So many of you are gathering new information. Many of you are teaching. Many of you are putting new information out there. There's a lot of gathering information that's happening right now that is pushing for this growth and evolution. So many of you going through a learning process, many of you going through this process of exploration, of growth, of gathering new information. Remember that we have this North Node that is sitting in your 8th house, where many of you are wanting to go deeper. Many of you are searching for deeper answers and information. And this is where this North Node is trying to take you out of your comfort zone with that South Node in Sagittarius in your 2nd and pulling you deeper, deeper into this learning experience, deeper into this experience of change and evolution, deeper into intimate connections, deeper into seeing behind the scenes, seeing into the deeper meanings of life. So there's a lot of spiritual growth and evolution that many of you are going through here on your journey. Moving forward here, we have Mercury in reverse. Not a whole lot of communication that's going on here, right? And for many of you, you are losing friends, you're losing connections that no longer serve you. People are just disappearing. People who no longer serve a purpose in your life. And for those of you who are upset over this, those of you who are feeling this loss, remember that this is making space for something new. We also have Venus here right side up. There are new relationships coming, new connections that better serve you, that are of the highest value to you. So this is about your worth, your value, and stepping into that. And so for any friendship, for any experience that doesn't work out for you, this is Spirit leading you towards what is truly of value and meaning to you. Last card here is Virgo in reverse. And we want to turn this right side up, where we are making the improvements and adjustments that are needed, where we're taking care of responsibilities and duties. And so what is the block that is happening here for those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising? And the card at the bottom of the deck here is Uranus. So are we unwilling to make these changes? Are we unwilling to let go? To liberate ourselves from these old connections, these old experiences that no longer serve us. So major changes that those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising are going through here in the month of August. Big time where there is a need to let go of the past so that you can move forward to grow and evolve. Big time for learning and having new experiences and really building up your project, your career, your goals. So that was your horoscope for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. I also wanted to mention that I am currently offering an astrology class that can be found on Udemy, on Patreon, or through the private Facebook group Astrology Class with Daquan Jones. So I will leave all the information for that down below in the description as well as the comments. Also, feel free to join the group Astro Metaphysical Love and Light on Facebook. It is a free group where you can share your spiritual wisdom, motivational advice, or simply just love and peace. And I want to thank you all once again so much for joining. And I want to thank all the spirits, guardians, and guides who showed up in this reading today to make this message possible. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.